Underground and warehouse parties have been around since alcohol was invented. Yet with the crackdown in Sydney's nightlife, coupled with the surge of social media, to keep these warehouse parties alive and hidden, they've become intimate and smaller, each targeted to a specific audience with a secret location. This is the area where some of the warehouse parties are held. As you can see, it's not a very residential area as it is mainly factories and industrial sites. We're going to speak to Charlie to find out a bit more about this warehouse party scene. He's a neighbour who lives in a warehouse and next door to some.
They're just down here. There's about 3 or 4 kind of in a surrounding area. And it's funny because when I first moved into the area, I kind of assumed that the warehouse that I was living in was sort of the only one. But then the longer I spent, the more you kind of begin to see these sort of furtive signs of secret hidden life. And, you know, I feel like, you know, this crackdown by the police is just going to result in people kind of trying to figure out another way to work around it.
I do see a lot more underground parties happening, but they're not as big. Now, because anything more than 25 people or 20 people is considered something in the eyes of the law, what you'll see is a smaller underground party that's just drum and bass. Another party might be just trance, and another party might be just house music.
Aidan Alexander, aka DJ Bloom, is the host of the popular warehouse party Rave.
The tagline that my mates like to use for it, for the type of music they're after, is like deep, dark, dangerous. Before Facebook, it used to be very different. You'd have like passwords and like riddles to try and tell someone where it is so that the cops just give up and don't bother trying to find it. It's a bit more difficult with Facebook now. But one of the challenges we find is finding locations. If it goes well, then suddenly all the other crews are throwing parties there, and soon enough the cops know to check it out every Saturday night and see what's happening. Kind of a constant struggle to find new places. A really good one that I went to for the first time recently is by a crew called Okra. And what I think they did really well is they had a small space and they sold out tickets really quickly. They could have sold a lot more tickets than they did, but they capped it at a responsible amount.
Irregardless of the size, such unregulated parties are still deemed as unsafe, according to neighbours and police.
Because it's unregulated, if something was to go wrong, there's no covering, there's no insurance. So if there was a fire or, you know, something like that, then the building's not going to be safe in that kind of situation. It's not fireproof, you know, there's not the right exits and things like that.
Whether these parties are small or not, if they are unsafe, the police will continue to target them.
Well, you can have a party in your house, but obviously you'd have house insurance, because what if someone slips over or gets injured? If you're having it at a venue, obviously, then there's laws, and if you're supplying alcohol, laws actually come into play. So if it is someone who's, you know, charging people at a venue, supplying alcohol, you know, well then police will be involved. Then there's certain restrictions put in place. So warehouse parties starting at 3 o'clock where people are already pre-intoxicated is just a recipe for disaster. And if people are going to hold that to it, they're going to get caught out.
So, are these more intimate and specific warehouse parties the way of Sydney's nightlife for the future? Or will they remain as an unsafe event which needs to be stopped by the police? Catherine Hickey for Carpe PM.